In previous lecture, we tried to understand the basics of communication system, analog communication system, and we have studied some recapitulation like some system operation, some mathematical manipulation like Fourier transform, etc. Today we are going to discuss amplitude modulation. In previous day we said that modulation is a kind of change of parameter of a signal which is called the carrier based on the change in another signal called the modulating signal or baseband. That means depending on the variation of baseband signal, one of the parameter of carrier would vary. Now if that particular parameter is amplitude, then that particular technique of modulation is called amplitude modulation. So for amplitude modulation, the amplitude of the carrier should vary about its original value or original amplitude depending on the variation of baseband signal. Now in general, modulation may be of two types. One is called the positive modulation, another is called the negative modulation. If the parameter of the carrier increases with the increase in baseband signal, then that particular type of modulation is called positive modulation. Otherwise it would be treated as negative modulation. That means if we consider the case of amplitude modulation, if the amplitude of the carrier increases with the increase in baseband signal, then it will be positive amplitude modulation. Otherwise it will be negative amplitude modulation. Let us now try to understand this amplitude modulation process. Suppose we have an input signal written as xt, and xt is like this. It is an arbitrary, it is not exactly sine wave, it is assume it is a arbitrary signal. Ct is the carrier. Here carrier is assumed to be sinusoidal in nature, so its time period, phase and frequency remains same. Time period, phase, frequency and amplitude remains constant. Now we have to change the amplitude of this carrier depending on this baseband. So to understand this modulation process, first what we have to do, first draw the replica of the original message signal about this original amplitude. So about this original amplitude AC, you draw the replica of the original message signal, this one. Then at the lower side, about minus AC, you draw the inverted version of the message signal like this. Then you draw each cycle of this carrier here, but amplitude will be dependent on these two lines, these two curved lines. So for the first, the amplitude will be this one. For the second cycle, the amplitude will be this one, not the original AC voltage. this one, this one. Actually it should be AC, but now it will be slightly higher than AC. So in this way you feel all these, feel the cycles of the carrier signal, and the amplitude will vary depending on the on these two lines. So this is the picture of amplitude modulated signal. Here you can see, don't go for my drawing because it is hand drawing, but the amplitude must remain constant. Sorry, the frequency must remain constant, but the amplitude vary depending on the baseband. This is the amplitude modulated signal. Assume that this CT is AC cos omega CT and XT is the baseband signal, CT is the carrier. Then the amplitude modulated signal can be written as ST equal to AC cos omega CT, the original carrier, plus XT cos omega CT, this is the variation part, variable part. This XT cos omega CT actually is the producing the variation, this variation, and AC cos omega CT, this one, is the amplitude from 0 to AC. That means about this AC the amplitude will vary depending on the baseband signal XT. So when XT increases, the amplitude of the modulated signal will also increase, and when XT decreases, the amplitude of the modulated signal would decrease. This can also be written, well, there are various kind of expressions available for amplitude modulated signal. We have omitted all the complex notations, and this is the simplest form of writing the amplitude modulated signal. So we can write it in this way: AC plus XT into cos omega CT. This is the amplitude expression for amplitude modulated signal. We have to understand the spectrum of AM. So if the Fourier transform of XT is x omega, then the Fourier transform of AC cos omega CT is AC pi delta omega plus omega C plus delta omega minus omega C. So Fourier transform of ST is the amplitude modulated signal, written as S omega, that can be written as half of x omega minus omega C plus x omega plus omega C. This is for the first term, this one for the first term, xt cos omega CT, plus AC cos omega CT, its Fourier transform. So the effective spectrum would be like this: for the first term, half x omega minus omega C, x omega plus omega C, plus pi AC delta omega plus omega C plus delta omega minus omega C. So let us try to understand the spectrum. Let us assume this is the xt arbitrary signal. So just assume that this x omega looks like this. This is just arbitrary signal. You can choose any other form, any other shape. So it's a kind of triangular type of spectrum, and it is band limited to omega m. and this value, maximum value, is x0. For the carrier, the corresponding spectrum, since it's a cosine function, it will have two spikes at frequency plus omega c and minus omega c. So for ST, the amplitude modulated signal, the spectrum will be the combination of, see this, it is x omega shifted by this omega c. So we must have two spectrum, one for positive side, another is for negative side. And this x omega, the shape of the spectrum will be same as x omega, but it will be shifted in frequency by an amount omega c. So shape of this x omega was triangular, so the spectrum of AM will be triangular in shape but shifted by an amount omega c. This is omega c and this is minus omega c, and we have a triangular shaped spectrum. This spectrum is actually this one. But along with this, there will be some other parts also. This one, the carrier part, AC delta omega plus omega c, delta omega minus omega c. So this delta function implies that delta omega, it is a spike. So delta omega plus omega c, delta omega minus omega c implies that we have two spikes at frequency omega c and minus omega c. So we have two spikes here, plus omega c and minus omega c. So AM spectrum consists of the original message signal shifted by omega c and spike like this for the carrier. Same thing will be repeated for the negative side of the spectrum. So from this figure, it is clear that the spectrum of AM consists of three distinct parts. One is the carrier, this one, at frequency omega c. So this is the carrier part. Now the actual information is contained within this region, because xt is the actual information. This spike is not carrying any information, that means it is not connected or it is not linked to xt. See this, AC cos omega ct. So it is simply carrier, it is nothing but carrier, there is no information. So this spike is not carrying any information. So all the informations are carried by this part of these two parts actually. One part is above carrier frequency, another part is below carrier frequency, right? So the part of the spectrum above the carrier frequency is called the upper sideband. So these are actually the sidebands, carrier and two sidebands. The sideband with a frequency greater than omega c, or the carrier frequency, is the upper sideband, and the sideband with a frequency less than carrier frequency is the lower sideband. Now we have assumed that this x omega is band limited to omega m. So from 0 in the positive side is omega m, and from 0 to the negative side is minus omega m. And this same spectrum should present here. That means this width is omega m, this width is also omega m. So maximum frequency, if this one is omega c, then this point it is omega c plus omega m. At this point it is omega c minus omega m. So the total width of frequency over which the total power will remain is twice omega m. If we use linear frequency domain, then instead of omega m we have to write it as fm hertz. That means this width will be twice fm hertz. So if fm is the maximum frequency component, instead of omega m we can write omega m equal to 2 pi fm. So if omega m is the maximum cyclic frequency, then corresponding linear frequency will be fm hertz. So the bandwidth of this AM signal will be twice fm hertz. Here you can see that we have assumed that omega c is greater than this omega m. That is why omega c is drawn right to the omega m. Now what if omega c is less than omega m? So to understand this, let us go to this figure. Consider this figure. Here omega c is less than omega m. So the figure will be identical with the previous one. The only thing is that omega c is much closer to this zero frequency. So what happens, this lower sideband is going to the negative frequency part component, negative frequency part, and the negative part of the spectrum, a portion of negative frequency is coming to the positive part, this section. So there is a overlap, and because of this overlap the signal will be distorted, and it will be very difficult for us to get back our original message signal, because message signal is contained within this region. Message part is contained by this upper sideband and this lower sideband. Here you can see the lower sideband is now affected by this overlapping portion of the negative part. So because of this overlapping, the actual message signal, actual information gets lost. So we will get some distorted signal at the output of the receiver. That means the main objective of transmission is lost, because you cannot recover the original message signal because of this overlap. That is why this condition is never used in communication system. So we have to keep the carrier frequency higher than the baseband frequency. Reverse is not true. Now we have to understand the amount of modulation. That means in amplitude modulation, the amplitude of the carrier will vary, but how much? This how much is, that means the extent of amplitude variation is defined in terms of modulation index or amplitude sensitivity. So we define modulation index as the ratio of the maximum amplitude of the baseband signal to the maximum carrier amplitude. This is how we define the modulation index. Now generally xt is made smaller compared to the maximum carrier amplitude generally. So this numerator is lower than the denominator. So MA, the modulation index, most of the time is less than 1. Now we can multiply this expression by 100 to express this MA in percentage. So most of the time for amplitude modulation, as long as xt is made smaller than xt max is made smaller than the carrier amplitude, the modulation index is less than 100%. Now what will happen if xt max is exactly equal to the carrier amplitude AC, or xt max is greater than the carrier amplitude? So to understand this, let us consider these figures. Suppose this is the baseband signal. So the carrier amplitude will vary depending on the baseband signal like this. And this is the case when modulation index is less than 100%. We have already drawn this thing. Now, if the modulation index becomes 1, under this situation, this narrow portion, if we increase the modulation index by increasing this AM, that is xt max, then what will happen? This wider portion will be more wider and this narrower portion will be more narrow. So when xt max is exactly equal to AC, then this portion will be 0, this narrow portion will be exactly 0, and this is the diagram, this is the AM signal with modulation index equal to 1. What will happen if we increase the modulation index further? So this narrow portion, which was for MA equal to 1, it was in this portion, it will go towards the negative side, and lower portion will go to the positive side. So there will be a crossover, and because of this crossover, these are two crossover points, and at these two crossover points there will be a phase reversal. That means for this signal, if the phase is 0, then the phase of this portion will be exactly 180 degree out of phase. That means the wave will start like this. So 180 degree phase reversal will occur at these two crossover points. That will produce distortion, and because of this distortion, we cannot use low cost or cheap envelope detector to detect this type of signal. That is why modulation index greater than 1 is never used in practice. Now we will try to understand this AM with single tone system. Single tone implies that tone implies frequency. So single tone means single frequency. Single frequency of what? Single frequency of modulating signal. That means when the modulating signal or the baseband signal consists of single frequency, we call that particular system as single tone. So under this condition, xt can be written as Vm, it is the amplitude of the baseband signal, Vm cos omega mt. Cos omega mt because it is a single tone. Now the carrier is assumed to be cos omega ct, a cos omega ct. So the amplitude modulated signal can be written as a plus xt into cos omega ct. This is a general description. Now put the value of xt equal to Vm cos omega mt. So a cos omega ct plus Vm cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Take a cos omega ct common, so it will be 1 plus Vm by a cos omega mt. Now what is Vm by a? Vm is the amplitude of the baseband signal, a is the amplitude of the carrier. So Vm by a means the amplitude of the baseband signal divided by amplitude of the carrier, which is nothing but modulation index. So instead of writing Vm by A, we write modulation index for amplitude modulated system, MA. So the expression becomes A into 1 plus MA cos omega mt into cos omega c t. So this expression can be rewritten in this way: A cos omega ct plus, this is cos omega ct multiplied by cos omega mt. So using that trigonometric formula, A ma by 2 cos omega c plus omega mt plus A ma by 2 cos omega c minus omega mt. So this expression clearly telling us that we have three distinct components. One is A cos omega ct, the carrier part. Another is A ma by 2 cos omega c plus omega mt, since it is containing the omega m. That means this particular expression or part is the information part with the frequency of omega c plus omega m. Similarly, this one is also carrying the information. Omega m is there, ma is there, modulation index, it is also carrying the information. So this one is also carrying the information with the frequency omega c minus omega m. So if we plot these things in frequency domain, what we should get? This was the original message signal with the frequency of omega m and Vm. Here the first term, A cos omega ct, we are drawing only in the positive frequency part, for the positive frequency domain. So at omega c we have a spike because of this cosine function with amplitude of A. Next we have cos omega c plus omega mt. So it is a cosine function, means we will have a spike at frequency omega c plus omega m with amplitude of A ma by 2. So at frequency omega c plus omega m we have another spike of amplitude A ma by 2, this one. Similarly, here the frequency is cos omega c minus, frequency is omega c minus omega m, and it is the cosine function. So we will have a spike at frequency omega c minus omega m with amplitude of A ma by 2. So here we have the third term, omega c minus omega m frequency with amplitude A ma by 2. So clearly we have three distinct components. This one is for the carrier. This component is carrying the information and its frequency is higher than the omega c, the carrier frequency. So this spike is nothing but the upper sideband, and this one is the lower sideband. So upper sideband amplitude is AMA by 2, lower sideband amplitude is same as that of the upper sideband, AMA by 2. That means upper sideband and lower sideband is actually carrying the same information, and for AM we used to transmit both upper sideband and lower sideband, though they are carrying the same information.